Every day, in every corner of Berks County, community leaders and volunteers work tirelessly to make our community a better place. The 2022 Wilbur H. Doran Award recognizes one of those very special people. He has dedicated countless hours and boundless energy to helping people. The Doran Award recipient is Mike Reese.
So Mike Reese has been involved with United Way for many, many, many years. He's been on the board of directors. He has been a loan campaign specialist and continues to be a loan campaign specialist. He was one of our very first volunteers to sign up to be a tutor for Ready, Set, Read. And you know, the bottom line is Mike is available to help whenever and wherever needed.
Well, we met Mike in 2015 when Brad and I were chairing the United Way campaign. And he was a volunteer as a loan campaign specialist in LCS.
Mike's resume in community service is just incredible. And he seems to have focused in areas of health and education. And of course, we got to know him as one of the first tutors in Ready, Set, Read.
He's been a tutor at 10th and Penn since Ready, Set, Read started, and he still is.
When I think about Mike's commitment, he provides many hours of volunteer time to United Way. He is a loyal contributor, and he is a member of our United for the Future program. And what that basically means is that Mike cares so deeply about this community and about United Way that he has provided a bequest to United Way in his will. And you know, that's just such the ultimate gift, and we're so honored that Mike thinks so much of United Way to make that kind of arrangement for the organization.
Well, Mike is a longtime member of the Albright community, starting back in the 80s when he was an Albright student. May not know this, but the city of Reading is the only place in the country where you can go from elementary school through college on one street, 13th Street. And students who do that are called the members of the 13th Street Gang. And Mike is one of the members of that. So he came to us as a non-traditional student. He completed his degree at night. And since then, he has been a longtime member of our community, serving on our alumni board, now currently serving on our board of trustees, as a member of our task force on race relations, and all kinds of other. He's the first person to volunteer when something needs to be done. Mike understands both the traditional residential student and even more so the non-traditional student, the student who lives in Reading or came from the neighborhood or who was a commuter. So many of our members of the alumni board and of our board of trustees come from the traditional student community. That's the voice that's often dominates. And when he's in the room, he brings the voice of the commuter, the non-traditional student. He always asks those questions. So I think he understands even more so the breadth of the student experience and the dimension of the student experience, and that voice really matters on our board of trustees and our alumni board.
Mike is the leader. He's everything behind Million Youth Chess. I mean, he does everything, goes above and beyond. You may see him at 2 or 3 different centers in a day. You know, there's times when I'm with him, he's like, all right, well, I'll see you because I got to go somewhere else right after this. So, I mean, he's everything to that. And if you don't know him, he loves chess, and he just loves what it does for a person. You know what I mean? He loves how it builds confidence, teaches you how to take your time, think about what you're doing, and he teaches all those things.
I first met Mike in community services class that was sponsored by the United Labor Council. We all had community services classes so we could be well prepared to go out into the community to help people. And the community services paired with the United Way. That way we learned about all the agencies of the United Way so we could then be prepared to direct people in the right place when they needed help. The Labor Day Parade, we loved the parade. The community enjoyed the parade. and we are saddened that it's not no more. Once we chose Mike as the Grand Marshal, he was so excited. I mean, he deserved that position because he had did so much to help labor. So we thought he was worthy of being the Grand Marshal. And he prepared and he worked to get ready for this, help with the parade, you know, and that was a big thing for Mike.
Mike was involved with Berks Community Health Center right from the beginning of its development. So Berks Community Health Center actually was a concept from about 2008. He joined in 2011, even before the organization started in 2012. He is involved in everything. So if we have an event in the community, he's always there. If we're having an event in one of our centers, he comes in. And he is there to actually assist us by saying, well, you might have wanted to do it this way, because again, he has the experience. So we were always eager to hear from him and to see us evolve as we develop this new organization. So it's been very instrumental in making sure that we were responding to the community needs as he gave us all of that. The thing about Berks Community Health Center is that our board has to come from the community, either because they live in the community or they work in the community, so that they know the community and they become part of the community as well. So he was very instrumental because he knows Reddick very well, and he's widely known and involved. So that was really a huge advantage for us.
Certified recovery specialists have become real important in recent years because of the opioid epidemic in our nation. We've needed individuals to step up and meet with people as they are being detoxed to look at recovery. And Mike Reese was one of the first in our community to raise his hand and say, let me do that. I will share my experience, strength, and hope with individuals about the importance of recovery. So it's hard to tell how many lives he has been able to save because he's helped them move from addiction to recovery. I was really familiar with Mike Reese for a number of years because of his involvement with the Alumni Council at Karen, and he served on the Human Resource Committee. But the year that he served as chairman of the National Alumni Leadership Council was a very special year for me because it was the year that I personally entered recovery and began my recovery journey. So as a newly sober man, I was able to spend countless hours with Mike because he had made the commitment to go to every single alumni event over the course of that year. And as president of Karen, I also went to those. So it was wonderful being in those car rides, talking to Mike about recovery and helping me understand my role in recovery. He's a terrific role model of recovery. He was a mentor, encouraged me, and a role model, and I'll always be eternally grateful to him for that very special year because I think it really helped me on my journey of recovery. And so, Mike, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, we have actually some funny stories about that, because one of the first things that we did as campaign co-chairs was all the LCSs were invited to help out Berks Encore delivering
Meals on Wheels.
And I was paired with Mike, and so we went around to, we had our route, and I can remember that thinking to myself, I'm afraid this food's gonna get cold by the time we get there, because Mike knew everybody. On every place we walked, we had to stop and shook his hand, and I got introduced to everybody, and it's like, he was such a celebrity.
There's a whole category of meals that had to be reheated.
Yeah.
On that day.
Yeah.
He's one of those board members that you know for a fact is in the community. He's there with kids, he's there with the adults, he's there with the family, so it's important to have that, especially with a board like ours. We have, low-income residents on our board, people from the public sector, so it's good to have that person that's right in between all that. He's in tune with the kids, in tune with the parents, And he does tons of other things. I mean, he's probably the busiest person I've ever seen in my life.
I admire Mike's enthusiasm and the commitment to the community. He's always looking for how can we do it better and how can we improve the residents' lives of the county as well, for us as well as the city residents.
His legacy, he'll be known as a guy who actually did the work. He didn't just talk it. You know, a lot of these people talk about what could change our community and what could help. He actually puts his feet to the pavement and does all that. Like even right now, we're working a lot on anti-gun violence. Mike is the first to be like, look, got this idea, citywide chess tournament, got this shirt idea, anti-gun violence. Like, he does not mess around. He's on top of things, and he will be remembered as that somebody who did the job every day.
If you look back in time and you look at all of the individuals and couples that have received the Doran Award, you know, what they have in common is putting their caring into action. And Mike does that day in and day out. And it doesn't matter why he's at the table, he's at the table. And he can lead, he can follow, he can contribute, and to him, what is the most important agenda item is moving this community forward. And that is why Mike is so perfect to be the 2022 Doran Award recipient.